Once upon a time, there was a little stuffed bear named Teddy. Teddy had been with his owner, a little boy named Tommy, since he was born. Tommy loved Teddy more than anything in the world, and Teddy loved Tommy just as much. One day, Tommy and Teddy were playing outside when a gust of wind blew Teddy out of Tommy's hands and into the nearby woods. Tommy was heartbroken and cried for hours, but Teddy was determined to find his way back to his beloved owner. As Teddy wandered through the woods, he met a wise old owl who offered to help him find his way back home. The owl knew the woods like the back of his wing and promised to guide Teddy through the forest. As they journeyed deeper into the woods, they came across a mischievous fox who tried to trick Teddy into giving him his favorite blue scarf. But Teddy was too smart for the fox and didn't fall for his tricks. The fox then ran off, muttering to himself about how he would get that scarf one day. Next, they stumbled upon a babbling brook that seemed too wide to cross. Teddy was starting to feel a little scared and uncertain. But the owl reassured him and showed him how to cross the brook by stepping on the rocks. They had to be careful and take it slowly, but they eventually made it across without getting wet. Further into the woods, they came across a family of squirrels gathering acorns for the winter. The squirrels were very friendly and offered Teddy and the owl some acorns to eat. They sat together, munching on acorns and talking about their adventures in the woods. As they continued on their journey, they heard a rustling in the bushes. Teddy and the owl froze, unsure of what could be lurking in the undergrowth, but out popped a little rabbit, who introduced himself as Benny. Benny was a bit timid at first, but once he saw that Teddy and the owl were friendly, he hopped along with them for a while. The sun began to set, and Teddy started to worry that they wouldn't make it back to Tommy's house before dark. But just as he was starting to lose hope, they stumbled upon a clearing with a big tree in the center. The owl told Teddy that they could climb up into the tree and see if they could spot Tommy's house from above. So, they climbed up into the tree, and sure enough, they could see Tommy's house in the distance. Teddy was so relieved and happy to know that they were getting closer to home. As they climbed back down from the tree, they heard a strange sound coming from the bushes. They cautiously approached the bushes, and out popped a tiny hedgehog. The hedgehog introduced herself as Hattie and told Teddy and the owl that she was lost in the woods. Teddy and the owl took her under their wing and offered to help her find her way back to her family. With Hattie following close behind, they continued on their journey. They walked through a meadow filled with wildflowers and saw a family of deer grazing in the distance. The deer looked up and saw Teddy, the owl, and Hattie walking through the meadow. They didn't seem scared, and one of the young fawns even bounded over to say hello. As the night drew closer, they came across a small pond. The moon was shining brightly, and the pond looked almost magical. Teddy and the owl sat by the pond, watching the moon reflect on the water. Hattie was exhausted and fell asleep in the grass beside them. Teddy, the owl, and Hattie reached the edge of the woods, and Teddy can see Tommy's house in the distance. Teddy walks through the tall grass, waving goodbye to his animal friends, and eventually finds himself back at Tommy's house. From that day forward, Teddy never left Tommy's side. And Tommy promised to always keep a close eye on his beloved stuffed bear. And although they had been separated for a while, their bond was stronger than ever.